If you think all rental properties are profitable, think again. Here's why some types can actually be your worst nightmare. Hello everyone, my name is David. I'm a property investor, chartered surveyor, and the owner of Central Properties Estate and Letting Agency based in Leeds, West Yorkshire. We manage hundreds of rental properties, from student and professional HMOs to family lets and short-term rentals, and we've seen tens of thousands of tenants through our doors over the years. In this video, I'll uncover the 6 types of rental properties you should absolutely think twice about investing in. From hidden management costs to economic downturn vulnerabilities to having no control over your property. I'll guide you through how to spot these risky investments and what you can do instead for better returns. If you've ever lost money on an investment, or more importantly, want to avoid one, stick around and make sure to share your thoughts and questions in the comments as we go. Before we dive in, if this topic interests you, hit that like button, subscribe for more insights like this, and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Let's get started with the 6 types of rental properties that you should absolutely avoid at all costs. Number 6, student pods. Student pods are typically marketed as hassle-free investments with high returns. However, the reality often differs significantly. Student pod investments involve purchasing single rooms within a larger purpose-built student accommodation block, where tenants typically share amenities like kitchens and living areas. These units are often sold off-plan for cash and come with compulsory full management, making them appealing to investors looking for hands-off opportunities. Problem is, financing these investments can be challenging, as mortgages are rarely granted due to the pod's limited resale market. So most buyers are other cash investors, or suckers if you actually manage to sell it on to another unsuspecting investor. Not being able to add value through renovations or improvements, the limited resale market, and the dependency on the management company's competence means investors have little control over their investment success. If a building is poorly managed, individual investors have limited recourse to address issues affecting both asset value and rental income. Overall, there's not enough control of the asset for me, which is why student pods make the list in at number 6. Number 5, properties with regulated tenancies. Regulated tenancies, while somewhat rare in today's market, can become a real headache for landlords. They often come with controlled rents and tenancies that can extend indefinitely. Here's a closer look at how these tenancies work and why you should avoid them. Established under the Rent Act of 1977, prior to significant reforms introduced by the Landlord and Tenant Act of 1988, these tenancies created a landscape dominated by lifetime leases. These tenancies were characterized by significantly controlled rent levels, which were held artificially low compared to market rates. Rent adjustments could only be made every 2 years and were tied to inflation-linked indexes rather than market comparables, ensuring that rents rarely reflected actual market conditions. Also, regulated tenancies could be inherited, allowing them to pass from generation to generation within families. This aspect makes it particularly challenging for landlords to regain control over their properties. For landlords, the difficulty in adjusting rents and the near impossibility of terminating these tenancies without buying the tenant out pose significant challenges. These conditions have often led to situations where landlords have limited financial incentive to maintain or improve properties, leading to a deterioration in the quality of housing. Do slum landlords of the 70s and the 80s ring a bell? Once again, as the property owner, you have no control over the asset, so regulated tenancies are a hard pass for me. Number 4, properties in high-value neighborhoods. Investing in high-value neighborhoods might seem appealing because of the potential for capital appreciation. However, while the primary goal of real estate investing is to create wealth, it's also to generate positive cash flow that more than covers operating costs. But in expensive neighborhoods, the high cost of acquisition as you compete with homeowners for properties makes it difficult to achieve great investment returns. Yields tend to be lower due to the gap between high property values and the rents that realistically can be charged. As a result, generating significant positive cash flow becomes a challenge, with the investment often not covering its costs. Despite the attraction of high-value addresses, there is a limited appetite among renters to pay high rents needed to align target yields with property values. Renters in these areas are more price sensitive or have alternative, cheaper options in slightly less expensive but comparable neighborhoods. This dynamic puts additional pressure on investors who cannot simply raise rents to increase their returns. Investors in these areas often rely on property value appreciation to achieve profitability. For example, buying an apartment in central London is typically done with the expectations of equity growth rather than cash flow. However, this strategy can be risky, particularly if the real estate market experiences a downturn. When property values stagnate or decline, investors can find themselves holding high value value assets that do not produce the expected financial returns, leading to potential financial strain. While expensive neighborhoods may offer prestigious investment opportunities and potential for long-term property value appreciation, they are not typically great for generating immediate positive rental income. So investors should weigh the high entry costs against the realistic rental yields and consider the market's volatility. Number 3, leasehold properties in buildings with resident management companies. Now, don't get me wrong, I have no issue buying flats or apartments as rental properties, but the structure of the building management and how the building is run is very important to me, and resident-owned management companies play a significant role in the success of an investment. Resident management companies are often formed by residents who take on the responsibilities of managing the building's affairs, such as external maintenance and upkeep. While this can create a more involved community, it can also lead to management issues. Poor and inexperienced management might not effectively handle building maintenance, potentially leading to deteriorating property conditions and unhappy leaseholders and tenants. On the financial side, poorly managed buildings often incur high service charges, directly impacting profitability. Also, some resident management companies may enforce building rules and regulations very stringently, which can be burdensome for both landlords and tenants. It's also not uncommon for some management companies to leave maintenance until the last minute. When proactive maintenance is neglected, it often turns into reactive maintenance, resulting in unexpected and expensive repairs. For instance, a new roof might be required, which would have been a smaller expense with regular proactive upkeep, but becomes significantly more costly when addressed reactively. From a cash flow perspective, high service charges can erode the income generated from rental payments, making it more difficult to achieve that positive cash flow. Operationally, dealing with a resident management company that is either too lax or too strict with rules can complicate property management, increase tenant turnover, and result in higher operational costs. Investors considering leasehold properties in buildings with resident management companies should thoroughly evaluate the management's track record. It's important to review past and current service charges, understand the specifics of what they offer, and assess the general satisfaction of residents and other owners. Engaging with the resident management company before purchasing can provide insights into their operational effectiveness and community engagement. While investing in properties with resident management companies can offer benefits such as closer community control and potentially more tailored building management, the challenges are obvious. Investors need to carefully assess the management structure and its implications on both the financial and operational aspects of property ownership. Understanding these factors will help in making informed investment decisions that align with long-term financial goals. Number 2, properties in high unemployment areas with poor demographic trends. Now, some investors only invest in this type of property. They're generally much cheaper to buy, so there's lower barrier to entry. Furthermore, this affordability can appeal to investors looking to maximize the number of properties they can acquire or those with limited initial capital. However, investing in these areas requires a thorough understanding of the socio-economic environment. Investors need to be well versed in how the welfare system operates, particularly how housing benefits are allocated and paid, as tenants in these regions may rely heavily on this support. The economic instability can lead to higher tenant turnover and more frequent rent defaults, meaning more robust management strategies are needed to be in place. It's also worth noting that in many cases, while income returns can be in the double digits, there is limited scope for capital appreciation, which is really the main wealth builder when investing in real estate. It would be wiser to focus on areas with more stable employment prospects and growing populations, as opposed to the opposite. Number 1, off-plan new developments. Brand new developments often catch the eye of buy-to-let investors because of their modern amenities and fresh look. However, my experience has shown that they don't always make for the best rentals. One of the primary issues with new developments is the build quality, which can be inconsistent depending on the developer. Although these properties are new, the rush to meet market demand can sometimes lead to compromises in construction standards. Also, many new developments are situated on the outskirts of towns or cities where land is more available and less expensive than urban areas. This often results in locations that might not be best served by public transport, potentially making them less attractive to renters to pay premium dollar who rely on these services. From an operational standpoint, managing properties in new developments can come with unexpected challenges. These can include dealing with the initial defects or construction issues that may have not been immediately apparent, requiring additional time and resources to resolve. Also, there are service charges to deal with. For a development to offer the best amenities, there are obviously going to be costs involved, whether it's 24-hour concierge, landscaping, utilities. All of these costs need to be paid, and they're clawed back through through each apartment owner's service charges. And this is another expense that eats into your cash flow. Similar to student pods, if a development is poorly managed, there is little you can do about it as an individual leaseholder. This can affect both asset value and rental income. For example, no matter how well maintained your apartment is, what if the entrance and communals are not kept in good order, or there are security concerns? Prospective renters will notice this immediately and choose not to rent with you. Overall, there's not enough control of the asset for me, which is why these types of units make the list. Given these factors, I tend to prefer investing in properties with more stable rental prospects and lower overheads. This includes well-established areas with proven rental markets, better build quality, and no additional expenses like ground rents or service charges. These properties often offer more predictable returns and fewer operational headaches. So we've just explored some of the key property types that can pose significant risks to investors. Understanding these allows you to make more informed decisions. Next, let's talk about how you can navigate these challenges effectively. Number one, due diligence and research. First and foremost, comprehensive due diligence is essential. While I could dedicate an entire series to researching investment opportunities, I'll keep it brief here, focusing instead on a few key aspects to remember. Whether you're purchasing through an agent, at auction, or directly from the seller, there are several critical steps you should take before exchanging contracts. Now, although tools like Google Maps are excellent for getting an overview of an area, my personal rule is that you should never invest in a place you haven't visited. Taking the time to drive through the area can be eye-opening. Ask yourself, would I personally live here? This simple question often shifts perspective rapidly and can be a good litmus test. If the property has been used as a rental for a long time, it's important to examine the tenancy history. Look at where rent levels have been in previous years. Consistent rental income with minimal void periods suggests the property generally rents well. However, if the seller achieved a high rent recently after struggling in prior years without carrying out any form of improvement work, it could indicate that they just got lucky on the rental market and decided to sell to another landlord who might not be aware of the rental challenges. You should always ensure the property has proper planning consent for its current use. Check the local council's planning portal to confirm there are no unauthorized alterations or construction works. If there are, you could be responsible for rectifying these issues if the council find out. Personally, I always check the last sale price of the property, which you can find on Rightmove for free. Knowing how much equity the seller has can indicate how open they might be to negotiate on price. Sellers with substantial equity might be a little more flexible on price compared to those who need to sell at a specific price to clear their liabilities or loans. Lastly, tools like Property Tracker can be invaluable. They allow you to see any price changes since the property was listed, helping you identify potentially motivated sellers. Frequent price drops usually indicate a strong desire to sell quickly, which is an important factor to consider when making an offer. I've included a link to another video in the description for how this plugin works. Number two, building a great team. Never underestimate the value of professional advice. Start by hiring a lawyer who specializes in property law. While they may cost a bit more, their expertise could save you thousands in the long run. Next, consider working with local agents beyond just the selling agent. Remember, the selling agent is ultimately working for the seller and will be paid by them. While they are motivated to close the deal, they don't necessarily have your best interests at heart. So take the time to talk to other agents in the area. They can provide valuable insights about the property or neighborhood that you might not get from the selling agent. It's also essential to have a real estate savvy accountant because they will optimize your investment for tax efficiency, potentially saving you significant amounts of money. Always choose professionals with proven experience in the property market, as their expertise will be invaluable. Lastly, finding a great builder is crucial, though it can be a bit of trial and error. A trusted referral is a good starting point. For more detailed advice on hiring a builder, check out my blog on what not to do in this process, which can be found in the description below. Number three is building a diverse portfolio. Diversification is key in any investment strategy. By spreading your investments across various property types and locations, you reduce the risk of losses from any one single decision. Consider mixing different rental properties from residential HMOs, professional HMOs, buy-to-let, to commercial properties in up-and-coming areas. This approach not only minimizes risk, but also maximizes potential returns by taking advantage of changing market conditions. Additionally, diversifying across geographic regions can protect you from local economic downturns and provide opportunities to capitalize on growth in different areas. A well-rounded portfolio is essential for long-term stability and growth. Implementing these strategies, thorough research, professional consultation, and portfolio diversification can significantly improve your investment decisions. By being proactive and prepared, you position yourself to maximize returns and minimize risks. So today we've explored several types of property investments that carry higher risks, including student pods, regulated tenancies, and high-value neighborhoods, among others. We discussed the specific challenges associated with each and provided practical advice on how to avoid the common pitfalls. Remember, successful property investing isn't just about finding the right opportunities, it's also about steering clear of the wrong ones. With the right strategies and knowledge, you can minimize risk and maximize returns. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below. Share your own experiences with property investments or any questions you might have. I love hearing from you and strive to respond to all of your comments. Thank you for watching, and remember, the right knowledge is key to successful property investing. See you in the next video.